In Leviticus 23, verse 23 and 22-25, and Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the people of Israel, and saying, In the 7th month, on the first day of the month, you shall observe a day of solemn rest, a memorial proclaimed with blasts of trumpets, a holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work, and you shall present a food offering to Yahweh. Now turn to Ezekiel 33. The word of Yahweh came to me, Son of man, speak to your people and say to them, If I bring the sword upon a land, and the people of the land take a man from among them and make him their watchman, and if he sees the sword coming upon the land and blows the trumpets and warns the people, then if anyone who hears the sound of the trumpet does not take warning, and the sword comes and takes him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. He heard the sound of the trumpet and did not take warning. His blood shall be upon himself. But if he had taken warning, he would have saved his life. But if the watchman sees the sword coming and does not blow the trumpet, so that the people are not warned, and the sword comes and takes any one of them, that person is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood I will require at the watchman's hand. So you, son of man, I have made a watchman for the house of Israel. Whenever you hear a word from my mouth, you shall give them warning from me. If I say to the wicked, O wicked one, you shall surely die, and you do not speak to warn the wicked to turn from his way, that wicked person shall die in his iniquity, but his blood I will require at your hand. But if you warn the wicked to turn from his way, and he does not turn from his way, that person shall die in his iniquity, but you have delivered your soul. In every generation, Yahweh raises voices to serve as trumpeters, messengers who sound the alarm, declare his word, and warn his people. The trumpeter is not a title of prestige, but a position of divine responsibility. He's Yahweh's appointed voice to shake the people from spiritual slumber and call them to righteousness, repentance, and readiness. In Ezekiel 33, Yahweh likens the prophet to a watchman whose duty is to blow the trumpet and warn the people. Failure to sound the alarm results in blood guilt. But if the trumpet is blown and the people ignore it, the watchman is free from guilt. This shows that being a trumpeter is not optional. It's a divine assignment with eternal implications. In today's world, it's filled with confusion and compromise and corruption. Now more than ever, the church needs clear and courageous voices, trumpeters who will not remain silent in the face of evil. As we explore this subject, may the Lord stir us to take our place as watchmen and trumpeters in this critical hour. Now, the trumpeter is a divine messenger. A trumpeter speaks not his own words, but Yahweh's message with clarity and boldness. He speaks what Yahweh commands. In Ezekiel 3, verse 4, And he said to me, Son of man, go to the house of Israel and speak with my words to them. For you are not sent to a people of foreign speech and a hard language, but to the house of Israel. Not to many people of foreign speech and a hard language, whose words you cannot understand. Surely if I send you to such, they would listen to you. But the house of Israel will not be willing to listen to you, for they are not willing to listen to me. Because all the houses of Israel have a hard forehead and a stubborn heart. Behold, I have made your face as hard as their faces, and your forehead as hard as their forehead. Like emery harder than flint, have I made your forehead. Fear them not, nor be dismayed at their looks, for they are a rebellious house. Moreover, he said to me, Son of man, all my words that I shall speak to you receive in your heart, and hear with your ears, and go to the exiles, to your people, and speak to them, and say to them, Thus says Yahweh Elohim, whether they hear or refuse to hear. Well, a true trumpeter carries Yahweh's word and releases it without fear. He is Yahweh's watchman over the people. Ezekiel 33:7. So you, son of man, I have made a watchman for the house of Israel. Whenever you hear a word from my mouth, you shall give them warning from me. He watches for danger and warns with urgency and love. He must speak loud and clear. In Isaiah 58, verse 1, Cry aloud, do not hold back. Lift up your voice like a trumpet. Declare to my people their transgressions, to the house of Jacob their sins. The trumpet must not be silent or uncertain in its sound. His voice awakens and prepares others. Joel 2, verse 1. Blow a trumpet in Zion. Sound an alarm on my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh is coming. It is near. The trumpeter prepares the people for divine visitation of judgment. Biblical examples are Noah was warned in his generation for 120 years before the flood. In Genesis 6, verse 13, And Elohim said to Noah, I have determined to make an end of all flesh, for the earth is filled with violence through them. Behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark. Cover it inside and out with pitch. This is how you are to make it. The length of the ark is 300 cubits, its breadth is 50 cubits, its height is 30 cubits. Make a roof for the ark, and finish it to a cubit above, and set the door of the ark in a side. Make it with lower, second, and third decks. For behold, I will bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, in which is the breath of life under heaven. Everything that is on the earth shall die, but I will establish my covenant with you, and you shall come into the ark, you, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you. And of every living thing of all flesh you shall bring 2 of every sort into the ark, to keep them alive with you. They shall be male and female, of the birds according to their kinds, and of the animals according to their kinds, of every creeping thing of the ground according to its kind. 2 of every sort shall come in to you to keep them alive. Also, take with you every sort of food that is eaten, and store it up. It shall serve as food for you and for them. Noah did this. He did all that Elohim commanded him. The trumpeter carries a responsibility. His assignment is sacred, and the consequences of silence are serious. He will be held accountable for his silence. In Ezekiel 33, verse 6, But if the watchman sees the sword coming, and does not blow the trumpet, so that the people are not warned, and the sword comes and takes any one of them, that person is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood I will require at the watchman's hand. Now, if he fails to sound the alarm, he shares in the blood of the perishing. He must not compromise the message. Jeremiah 1:17. But you, dress yourself for work. Arise, and say to them, everything that I command you. Do not be dismayed by them, lest I dismay you before them. The fear of men must not silence the voice of the trumpeter. His words must align with the Spirit's voice. In Revelation 1 verse 10, I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day, and I heard behind me a loud voice like a trumpet. Now the trumpet must echo the voice of Yahweh, not the opinions of men. He must persist even when ignored. In Jeremiah 6 verse 17, I set watchmen over you, saying, pay attention to the sound of the trumpet. But they said, we will not pay attention. Even if people refuse to listen, the trumpeter must still sound the warning. And the trumpet sound must be distinct and timely. A trumpet that gives an uncertain sound confuses the people. It must be clear and not compromised. In 1 Corinthians 14 verse 8. And if the bugle gives an indistinct sound, who will get ready for battle? The sound of the trumpet must be clear so the people can prepare for battle. The message must be seasonal and prophetic. In Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 and Amos 3 verse 7. For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. For Yahweh Elohim does nothing without revealing his secret to his servants and prophets. Every trumpet blast must match the timing and season of Yahweh's move. The trumpet must awaken the sleeping church in Romans 13 verse 11. Besides this, you know the time, that the hour has come for you to wake from sleep. For salvation is nearer to us now than when we first believed. It's time to awaken from slumber and prepare for Yeshua's return. The trumpeter must speak truth in a perverse generation. In Philippians 2 verse 15, that you may be blameless and innocent, children of God, Elohim, without blemish, in the midst of the crooked and twisted generation, among whom you shine as lights in the world. He must shine his light and hold fast to the word of life. John the Baptist was a voice crying in the wilderness to prepare the way. In John 1 verse 23, he said, I am the voice of one crying out in the wilderness, make straight the way of the Lord, as the prophet Isaiah said. The trumpeter must be consecrated and discerning. To hear the sound of Yahweh's alarm, the trumpeter must walk in holiness. Consecration positions him to hear clearly. In Isaiah 6 verse 8 and 9, and I heard the voice of Yahweh saying, whom shall I send, and whom will go for us? Then I said, here I am, send me. And he said, go and say to this people, keep on hearing, but do not understand. Keep on seeing, but do not perceive. The trumpeter cannot sound what he hasn't heard from Yahweh. He must spend time in Yahweh's presence. Habakkuk 2 verse 1. I will take my stand at my watch post and station myself on the tower and look out to see what he will say to me and what I will answer concerning my complaint. Waiting in the watchtower is essential for delivering divine message. He must discern the times and the seasons. In 1 Corinthians 12 verse 32, of Issachar, men who had understanding of the times to know what Israel ought to do, 200 chiefs and all their kingsmen under their command. A wise trumpeter knows what to say and when to say it. He must remain spiritually alert. 1 Peter 5 verse 8. Be sober-minded. Be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. Spiritual drowsiness silences the voice of the trumpet. The Apostle Paul consistently discerned and declared Yahweh's word boldly. In Acts 20, verse 26 and 7, "Therefore I testify to you this day that I am innocent of the blood of all. For I did not shrink from declaring to you the whole counsel of Yahweh." The trumpeter must not be silent in his generation. Yahweh is raising men and women as trumpeters to cry aloud, "Spare not, lift up their voice like a trumpet." The world is growing darker, but the voice of the watchman must grow louder. Every believer is called to be a voice, not to echo. Whether you are a pastor or an intercessor, evangelist, or a worshiper, you are a divine trumpeter sent to your sphere of influence. Let your life, your words, and your convictions declare the sound of Torah and the gospel. May you rise as a faithful trumpeter, bold, accurate, and uncompromising, until the whole earth is filled with the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh. There's one more verse that I picked out. I didn't know where to put it, so I'm just going to read it at the end. "To whom shall I speak and give warning, that they may hear? Behold, their ears are uncircumcised, they cannot listen. Behold, the word of Yahweh is to them an object of scorn. They take no pleasure in it. Therefore I am full of the wrath of Yahweh. I am weary of holding it in. Pour it out upon the children in the streets, and upon the gatherings of young men. Also both husband and wife shall be taken, the elderly and the very aged." Jeremiah 6, verse 10 and 11. So Lord, make us faithful trumpeters in this generation. Father, open our ears to hear your voice clearly. Deliver us from the fear of man that silences truth. Give us grace to speak your word boldly and faithfully. And help us to discern the times and seasons around us. Yahweh bless you.